Do we see supremacy of bhakti on the screen?
Roji, we are seeing the Gmail.
Oh,
We were seeing the slides a few minutes back.
how about now?
Yeah, we can see.
Supremacy of bhakti?
Yes.
Okay. ओम ज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवांश्च। श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पादान् सहगण ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे। मुखं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्येश्वरम्। Supremacy of Bhakti. So this is fifth chapter. There are three main topics. One thing that we discussed last week is the mystery of Vaishnavism, and we saw how mystery of Vaishnavism means mm, Vaishnavism or Bhakti gives um, mm, Bhakti gives a lot of cushion. Like we discussed how Sobri Muni, he made a mistake and thousands of years of his practice went into vain. But Bhakti is like even if there is fall down, there is no prashit required. And Bhakti is a lot of cushion. Whatever advancement we make, no matter what we do, it can never be taken away from us. Um, and on the other hand, if even mistake, like um, it is said to us as human, mistakes will happen or it may happen. Um, but even if mistakes happen, those who like same verse from Bhagavad Gita, those who remain engaged in sincerely in devotional service of the Lord still considers them saintly. Um, yeah, so that was the mystery. Now, supremacy of bhakti. Um, Persons who are already elevated in discharging devotional service will never again take shelter of the process of karma or jnana. If one sticks to devotional service, that is the best qualification. So those who are elevated in bhakti or those who have tasted devotional service, they will never again take shelter of any other process. So that shows, somebody may be a jnani, somebody may be a karmi, but then they may be very much attracted to bhakti. Like I think that we can see of like jnani examples like four Kumaras, Sukadev Goswami, they were like liberated jnanis. But when they heard Bhagavatam, they were attracted so much. We have not heard any single person, a devotee, who is um, going back and taking shelter of either the path of jnana or path of karma. But we see many are coming towards bhakti, or everyone is coming towards bhakti if they are fortunate. So that itself shows, here Krishna says, those who have taken shelter of bhakti never go back. and take shelter of the processes of karma and jnana. Um, that that shows how bhakti is supreme. Again, it's from Uddhav Gita. Mm, Again from Uddhav Gita, and all these verses, Rupa Goswami uh, puts a theme, and then Rupa Goswami is bringing, uh, corroborating the theme from various verses in various scriptures. So all these verses are quoted by Rupa Goswami as an example, as a proof. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "My dear Uddhav, because I desire that human beings may achieve perfection, I have presented three paths of advancement: the path of knowledge, the path of work, and the path of devotion. Besides these three, there is absolutely no other means of elevation." So Krishna says, because I want the living entities to be elevated spiritually and come out of that material illusory platform, Krishna says, I have created three paths that the jiva can choose from. One is the path of Gyan, one is the path of karma, and one is the path of bhakti. They are all meant to elevate the living entity. Among these three paths, Gyan Yoga, the path of philosophical speculation, is recommended for those who are disgusted with material life and are thus detached from ordinary fruitive activities. Those who are not disgusted with material life, having many desires yet to fulfill, should seek perfection through the path of karma yoga. So basically, those who have many material desires, they can run behind material desires and engage or offer those things to me, and then they can use them, or they can use them keeping me in the center. This basically path of karma yoga. Those who have many material desires practice path of karma yoga. Those who are disgusted with this material world, like going to the forest and like completely, um, yeah, like averse, they can take the path of Gyan. And that's why so many people, they go to the forest. Um, Here there is Janak Maharaj attained perfection through the path of karma, karma with bhakti, doing his duty as a king with bhakti. And then there is Swabari Muni, uh, the path of Gyan. Again, path of Gyan also eventually lead us to realizing the Paramatma or realizing the source. If somehow or other by good fortune one develops faith in hearing and chanting my glories, this is the path of bhakti, Krishna is explaining. Like you develop faith in hearing my glories and chanting my glories. Gyanis don't hear about Krishna or glorify Krishna. Bhaktas, whenever they come, either for Bhagavatam class or um, any discussion, they either glorify Lord Chaitanya, pure devotees of the Lord Krishna. They hear the glories of the Lord, they discuss the glories of the Lord. So here Krishna is telling somehow or other by good fortune. So again, Krishna is bringing this point that bhakti is supreme. So one develops faith in hearing and chanting my glories. Such a person, being neither disgusted with nor very much attached to material life, should achieve perfection through the path of loving devotion to me. So bhakti path is like for more balanced people. Um, Karma and Gyan path are taken by more extreme people in general sense. Um, yeah, bhakti is just hearing the glories and chanting the glories of.
Prabhuji, in Gyan Yoga also we will study, right? So is that not counted as hearing? Uh,
Yeah, no Prabhu. In Gyan Yoga, na, thus it's more of Sankhya. It's more of understanding and studying this material world, and bhakti is more of um, Bhagwan and Bhaktas. That is more dry knowledge, Jnana Yoga, like analyzing the elements of Mahatattva, Pradhan, how from like Ahankar comes. um, all the sound element, from sound element comes this. So it's more like technicality or sankhya, an analytical study of this world, and distinguishing from that what is gross and what is subtle, and what is spiritual and what is material, and what is the source of that. That's like part of sankhya, or analyzing, okay, what is this, what is it coming from, why I'm attached to this. So that's like the path of analysis, but it's not the glories of Bhagwan or Bhakti.
Okay, so they're not looking at the source itself, right? It's,
No, the focus is not the source. But,
okay.
um, okay. I mean, those who are
So
very
we
much,
can be in both stages, right? We can be analyzing as a Jnani yogi and having bhakti. Both pieces can be possible.
yes, generally devotees are both, but they see everything in connection with Krishna, and their knowledge is mainly from Bhagavad or Chaitanya Charitamrita. There are a lot of Sankhya elements in those books also, and that that section of Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita, which deals with Gyan, is filled with bhakti on a first place, and it brings renunciation. So um, um, the devotees also have that angle, but their main focus is on Krishna, getting up in the morning, chanting their rounds, um, and all the angas of
Okay, Praj, got it.
teaching the glories of the Lord, uh, accepting a spiritual master. Everything, the whole angle is of bhakti in devotees' life. Anyone has any question, please stop me there. Um, Everything that can be achieved by fruitive activities, uh, penance, knowledge, detachment, mystic yoga, charity, religious duties, and all other means of perfecting life is easily achieved by my devotee through loving service unto me. If somehow or other my devotee desires promotion to heaven, liberation, or residence in my abode, he easily achieves such benediction. So Krishna is telling another verse that describe how bhakti is supreme, that whatever benefit one get from other path is automatically given to those who takes the path of bhakti. And other path includes maybe some mystic yoga, charity, detachment, knowledge, some austerities, um, fruitive activity like karma, whatever they get, a bhakti, a devotee, whatever one desires, without extraneous effort, he gets it. Again, bhakti encompasses everything. This verse is also there in the last verse of, I think, 7th chapter or 8th chapter, one of the two. Whatever is attained by this is attained by bhakti by default. But also, Nectar of Devotion explains if we want something, Krishna can easily give that, but Krishna does not easily give himself. The resident of both heaven and hell desire human birth on the earth planet because human life facilitates the achievement of transcendental knowledge and love of Godhead, whereas neither heavenly nor hellish bodies efficiently provide such opportunities. This is again spoken by Krishna. Krishna is telling to Uddhava. I mean, Krishna is like, he's the creator of the universe, the source of Brahma also. He's in the heart of all living entities. And Krishna is telling in heaven, the facility to actually properly render bhakti is very less. In hell, the facility or the opportunity to render bhakti is very less. Only human form of life, proper bhakti can be performed. And those who are in knowledge, they desire a human birth from heaven or from hell. And Krishna is sitting in the heart, and Krishna knows that. That's why how rare is this human form of life. Residents of both hell and heaven and hell desire human birth because human birth facilitated achievement of transcendental knowledge and love of God. There are opportunities of bhakti in higher and lower planets, but here Krishna says does not efficiently provide such opportunity. Some here and there is there, but in earthly planet, like we see our spiritual master, Goswamis, Acharyas, proper love of God and proper bhakti can be performed only in human form of life. Oh, yeah, hellish. Uh, A human being who is wise should never desire promotion to heavenly planets or residence in hell. Indeed, a human being should also never desire permanent residence on the earth, for by such absorption in material body one becomes foolishly negligent of one's actual self-interest. So Krishna says, should not desire anything in this world. A comfortable stay on this planet, elevation to higher planet, or going to lower planet, should not desire anything. Because if one desires anything in this world, then one is acting against one's actual self-interest. Because every place Krishna describes, no, place of suffering because of um, attachment, and then those attachments are taken away from us in the form of death or disease or old age. Every place awards these things. It's temporary place. Everything is temporary. Everything, whatever we have, um, whatever we work very hard for, everything is taken away. Um, so a wise man should not desire anything other than pure devotion. Uh, A wise person, knowing that although the material body is subject to death, it can still award the perfection of one's life, should not foolishly neglect to take advantage of this opportunity before death arrives. Very nice verses, actually, these are. Long time before I discussed, but again, I am seeing them are very nice. Um, mm, Although this body, everybody, whoever we are, everybody will eventually be kind of burnt or buried, whatever. Everybody is going to die, and short time we have in these bodies. We are all subject to death. Still, how we use this amount of time that we have remaining can award the perfection of life. That time, little time that we have remaining in this. So a wise man should not neglect this opportunity before that arrives. Knowing that one's duration of life is being similarly cut down by the passing of days and night, one should be shaken by fear. In this way, giving up all material attachment and desire, one understands the Supreme Lord and achieves perfect peace. So, knowing that every morning we get up, one day is gone. So, Krishna says, um, our days are cut down. So, one should be shaken by fear. Shaken by fear means I'm one more day closer to death. That Shamshan bolte na, I'm one more day closer to where I will be, where I will be, where I will be, or the destination of the body, and not the soul of the body. And one more day. So Krishna is telling one should be shaken by fear. This is a healthy fear. Um, um, Means I have lesser and lesser time. And it happens actually when we start becoming more and more older now, 50s, 60s, more and more older. Um, um, For a devotee, the death seems more and more closer for a devotee. Um, I see many times, my Shiksha Guru, Yugal Kishore Guru, many times he says, Prabhu, I'm 55 now. I have much lesser time than how much time you have, assuming normal life. It's natural. And Srila Prabhupada also would say, Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami also would say, I don't know how much time I have to write the Chaitanya Charitamrita, to translate these Bhagavatam. I don't know how much time I have. In that way, one is more conscious of that. So one was to become more sincere and want to invest more time towards the actual purpose. Um, in this way, giving up all material attachment and desire, because we maintain attachments and we maintain those desires. But as one sees that Life is becoming short and life is spending in maintaining those attachments and desires. Um, One should kind of um, cut them off, understand the Supreme Lord, understand the purpose, and achieve perfect peace. The human body, which can award all benefit in life, is automatically obtained by the laws of nature. Although it is very rarely achieved, still it comes automatically by the laws of nature. This human body can be compared to a perfectly constructed boat, having the spiritual master as the captain and the instruction of the personality of God as favorable winds, impelling it on its course. Considering all these advantages, a human being who does not utilize his human life to cross the ocean of material existence must be considered killer of his own soul. So, spiritual master is compared to the captain, and the human body is like a ship. Um, and the captain should drive the ship. Likewise, our spiritual master, we can give the reign of our body in the hand of our spiritual master, or following the instructions or following the desires um, of our spiritual master. um, and Supreme Lord instruction like Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam as favorable winds. Um, mm, because even the like previously, na, even the captain will depend upon if the winds are favorable. Then based on the winds, the captain would guide and take the ship to the shore. Likewise, based on instruction of Supreme Lord, um, uh, our spiritual master guides based on the direction from the Supreme Lord, guides the disciple and take that disciple across the ocean of cycle of birth and death. Um, And if one is not using one's life in that manner, then one is considered killer of his own soul. Killer of his own soul basically lost the opportunity, uh, or causing suffering to oneself by uh, increasing one's duration in this material existence. When a person is disgusted with the temporary illusory nature of this world and is thus detached from it, his mind, guided by the instructions of his spiritual master, considers again and again the nature of this world and eventually gives up the false identification with matter. These are actually becoming more and more dense. Uh, when a person is disgusted with the temporary illusory, this is Krishna speaking actually to Uddhav. Um, when a um, disgusted with the temporary illusory nature of this world. In the beginning, this material world is like attractive, na? And one has hope of enjoying this material world, and one has hope of how by making some arrangements, by changing some circumstances or by fulfilling some desires, I will again be comfortable and happy here. So this is naturally how a conditioned soul thinks, how I can be happy and how I can settle and what I want. That hope is remaining. There is an optimistic view of this word. Optimistic view means this will be my next uh, step towards happiness in this world. I want this. I want to try this. Now that's what I'm looking for. So there's always hope in this world. But eventually, those hopes are called false hopes, and eventually those gets broken by the mercy of Krishna. And when knowledge arises in our heart, those hopes starts to break. um, um, Gradually one starts seeing how all those um, sources of comfort and pleasure and all those desires are the cause of great anxiety and misery for me. And gradually one sees um, a little bit deeper than how the mind presents the nature of this world. So gradually one starts seeing um, beyond um, beyond what the advertisements of the mind is, and sees and starts becoming a little bit um, um, like I don't want it, and eventually, when one sees things as they are, uh, then one wants to avoid it to an extent. Um, um, and the very last stage is like when a person is disgusted. Disgusted is like very pessimistic view. Pessimistic view of this word means um, he sees everything as it is gonna cause me suffering. In fact, one time I was hearing my spiritual master, his name is Sadhana Swami Maharaj, and Maharaj was mentioning a devotee expects danger at every step. Um, a devotee expects danger at every step. Or this he is like he's constantly looking where this misery is going to come now, where the misery is going to come next, where the suffering is going to come next. So he's constantly expecting suffering, danger, and like every step they are expecting. A devotee means they have kind of realized the true nature of this world. But a jiva, living entity, a conditioned soul, constantly expects happiness, and he gets the opposite. So he's like that is living in that like illusory world, illusory conception of this world. But a pure devotee knows the reality of this world, that how everything is suffering here. Dukhalya Shastram. He realized that, so he expects that everywhere, and he very cautiously moves in this world in a way. So here Krishna is this very advanced platform. That's why I said becoming more and more dense here. So Krishna is telling when a person is disgusted, actually very strong word, disgusted with the temporary illusory nature of this world, and is thus detached from it, then his mind is guided by the instructions of a spiritual master. Then his mind constantly ponders upon what Guru has said, and everything what Guru has spoken start making sense. Everything what Krishna has spoken start making sense. See, Krishna says Dukhalya Vashashmatamna. We may not realize it, but Krishna is telling when one realizes it. So there is a when. Then he starts taking shelter of the instructions of his spiritual master, guided by the instruction of spiritual master, considers again and again the nature of this world, and eventually gives up the false identification with matter. And eventually he start disassociating, gives up that false identification. I belong to this world, and become more and more fixed in one's true self. Like many times we discussed before, Prabhupada says having a pessimistic view of this world. A devotee, Prabhupada says, a pure devotee has a pessimistic view. Pessimistic view means it is like sometime we speak about suffering and people will say, why are you so pessimist? Be optimist, we can be happy here. But that's not what Krishna is, but that's not what the truth is. um,
Prabhuji, uh, like in the first we will have a pessimistic view, but as we progress in bhakti, even in the material world, we may enjoy some kind of a bliss. So, can that be an obstruction for the desire to go back, or means there can be a time where you don't feel that bad about, means you feel bad about overall what is happening, but within yourself you
mm.
may feel good, right?
Yeah, Prabhu. So a devotee is satisfied internally by his devotion, and then he expects danger externally in this world.
Okay, externally he's always he's expect. Okay.
He knows where he is, and any point of time, it's like he expects suffering. Like Srila Prabhupada, and they said pessimistic view. It's like, see, Krishna is Prabhu. Krishna has made this world. Wow, actually, and Krishna knows the true reality of this world. And Krishna is teaching Uddhava to protect him, and who is already a pure devotee. That's how a person will start understanding this world, when he is in knowledge. And then he takes shelter of the words of spiritual master. For Uddhava, it was Krishna himself, and the instruction of the Supreme Lord. And focus there and become more and more withdrawn from this word and focus on that, take shelter of that, unidentify oneself as a part of this word and comes back to me. Amazing, right? Mm. When common people hear Bhagavad Gita, I'm talking about myself. Common people hear Bhagavad Gita. They're like, "What is this? I don't understand." um, but at one point of time, one started taking shelter of them, and those words give so much solace. Ah, okay, we'll continue. Um, Lord Rishabdev, Lord Rishabdev to his sons. Persons engaged in fruitive activities, which is karma yoga, are repeatedly accepting birth and death until they develop a loving feeling for Vasudev. There will be no question of getting out of these stringent laws of material nature. Again, Lord Rishabdev is Supreme Lord himself, incarnation of Supreme Lord. He is saying those who are engaged in karma get repeated birth and death. Unless one develop a loving feeling for Vasudev, loving feeling or love for Krishna, there is no going back. No question. There will be no question of getting out of the stringent laws of material nature. Again, you see here, karma cannot liberate us. That's why here Rishabdev says, no matter how great karma yogi we are, we will be bound. Unless they develop a loving feeling, there is no escape, no question of getting out of these stringent laws of nature. Again, how Rishabdev is glorifying bhakti as superior to karma. Karma cannot give, bhakti can only give. Okay. So
Why
this
do
is
Krishna talk about karma yoga then? Like,
for those who are attached, no? Um, those who are attached and those who want things from this world, or like you continue your engagement. Like Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, don't um, um, disrupt their mind by speaking something that they cannot fathom. Rather, engage them, engage their propensities um, in a bhakti way, in a devotional way. And that's how they will gradually arise to devotional service. But don't just like break their faith on what they have because the mind will become disturbed. So karma yoga is leading us to we say na karma yoga, jnana yoga. They are like a staircase and eventually leading us to bhakti. So it is beneficial and it is beneficial for those who are attached. But that alone will not make us free till we develop loving feeling for Vasudeva. Does it help, Prabhu?
yes, like for me or most of us, we don't even have karma yoga bhaktis.
For me also, trying to practice karma yoga but not working. Yeah. Karma yoga is it's not based on ashram, but it's like acting according to our nature, surrendering the results to Krishna. Very high. That I mean we are like small insects, like teeny living entities and trying to fathom the ultimate truth, ultimate reality. Um, but it is said even though we are trying and we are like small children, we are speaking in our broken language. Um, it is said like how a child doesn't know anything actually. Um, and with his broken language, whatever, he doesn't understand the father, doesn't understand the mother. Because he's like just 1, 2 years old. What can they understand? But they smile at the father and the father and mother is pleased. Or they do some little thing, or they glorify one quality of father and mother and they don't understand what or how great father and mother are, what all they are doing. They glorify one little thing and the father and mother is pleased. So likewise, we are those conditioned souls who are in this world and who are completely caught up. And with our broken words, when we try to glorify the Lord or hear about the glories of the Lord, whatever little, Krishna is pleased by that. It's just like they are, what can they do? They are caught up, but they are trying, endeavoring in this direction. Okay. Um, then the last section is whom all are we indebted to? And this Rupa Goswami also describes here. A devotee is not a debtor to anyone or obliged in any way. My dear king, if someone gives up his occupational duties as they are prescribed for the different varnas and ashramas, little controversial topic. Nice, this is the time to discuss this. Um, 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 Someone gives up his occupational duty as they are prescribed for the different varnas and ashramas, but takes complete shelter, surrendering himself onto the lotus feet of the Lord. Such a person is no more a debtor, nor has he any obligation to perform the different kinds of activities we render to the great sages, ancestors, living entities, and family and society members. Nor has he any need to bother executing the five kinds of yajna sacrifices for becoming free from sinful contamination. Simply by discharging devotional service, he is freed from all kinds of obligations. So the idea is um, the mood of this section is if one neglects one's duty, one's dharma, and engages one's full energy in devotional service of the Lord, there is no reaction, and that person is not indebted to all the people who have helped him or her in very nice ways. If this devotee doesn't reciprocate with any one of them and simply takes shelter of Krishna and serves Krishna, um, then he is no more a debtor to all of them. And we will see in future, in further slides or in Bhagavatam also, it says like, you water the root and everything is nourished. Um, uh, Once again, a devotee is not a debtor to anyone or obliged in any way. Um, My dear king, if someone gives up his occupational duties as they are prescribed for the different varna and ashrama, like brahmachari has a duty, grihast has a duty, vanaprasth has a duty, sannyas has a duty, brahmana has a duty, kshatriya has a duty, vaishya has a duty, shudra has a duty, and whatever various duties one has, um, if someone gives up any of those duties but takes complete shelter, surrendering himself onto lotus feet of the Lord, such a person is no more a debtor, um, nor has he any obligation to perform the different kinds of activities we render. And he is not like, great sages helps us. They have given us the books, the ancestors, because the family property or the comfort we have in the home is coming from ancestors in a way. um, Living entities. So many people are helping us in so many ways. Somebody has made the road for us. Somebody has made these, vehicles for us to drive, build the houses. Or many living entities have helped us in many many ways. Um, um, Ancestors, living entities, great sages, family has helped us. They have given us this body, mother and father. And society members have helped us. The community we live in, they have helped us. One has no obligation to perform different kind of activities to any of these personalities. No obligation, nor any need to execute five kinds of yagyas for becoming free from sinful contamination. So these panch yagya, five kind of yagya mentioned in scriptures, um, those who are engaged in materialistic activities, naturally many things goes wrong, and these yagyas helps to purify the human form of life. Nor those that also includes demigods worship. Demigods are also providing us with rain and shine and everything, and the wind. We are indebted to them, and the sages, the family members, the society, and everybody else. But if one does not, one is not obliged to. Here it says, um, render service to any of them, or even neglecting one's varna and ashrama. One is not a debtor if one does not reciprocate with anybody. If one is taking complete shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord. or simply by discharging devotional service, he is freed from all kind of obligation. No other obligation remains, because actually everything is orchestrated by the Lord, so the living entity can go to the Lord. That the whole material world exists. Every situation, the material world exists. All the demigods exist. The this material world is compared to the place of rectification, where we can go and understand who we really are and join the Lord in loving service. So when the goal is achieved, then um, when one is focusing on the goal, then the actual purpose of our existence is getting served, and everything that is a medium is kind of all the purpose is getting fulfilled. But one time, Yugal Kishore Prabhuji was mentioning to me, like, we joined this ashram, and we it's a brahmachari thing. Um, there is some pain that is given to the parents. Maybe father has invested a lot in the children's education and no reciprocation to that also. Um, and they may have many expectations also, and those are also broken. It's a very hard decision, hard for many living entities in a way, connected. A lot of pain one gives actually. Uh, I can speak a lot on this, but um, 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 but if one is using one's energy in the service of the Lord, there is no reaction to that. There is one is not a debtor. But Prabhuji was mentioning, but if we say do the same thing and not serve Krishna, or we have some ulterior motives and we want to do something else, and we give pain to neglect our duties and give pain, then heavy karma comes there. But only when everything is engaged in service of the Lord, then karma does not come. So a devotee is not a debtor to anyone or obliged in any way. On a side note, there is one instance that comes in Journey Home, where Radhanath Maharaj um, was hitchhiking and he was searching for God. And Maharaj, at that time, Maharaj met Prabhupada, and Maharaj has this eager or strong calling to um, God, I want to know you, I want to serve you, who you are. This strong thing was there. And Maharaj is hitchhiking everywhere and trying to find the truth of life. But while Maharaj was doing that, there was a lot of pain incurred by the father, by the mother, and they were like, where is our child? And Maharaj is going everywhere, doing severe austerities and trying to find his connection with God. Um, um, and Maharaj would send like letter with no return address. Um, um, the parents would receive, and Maharaj just say that I'm doing fine, I'm okay. I'm here. No return address, and the father would go to the cops. My child is lost somewhere. He would take a troop there, and Maharaj is naturally hitchhiking. He left. So the father and mother are putting all the efforts to find where the child is, and Maharaj was hitchhiking, searching for God. And Maharaj would write to his father, "Please don't try to track me. I just want to say that I am safe." Um, um, so later on, the father wrote a letter. Maharaj's father wrote a letter. Uh, the whole letter was filled with tears in a way. It was like, when tears fall on a paper, there's a certain, like, the paper texture changes. The ink was spread everywhere because of the wetness from the father's eyes. Um, and like, if you don't come back, then um, we will die. In a way, very emotional letter they wrote to Maharaj, and that time Maharaj has a return address. He was in India somewhere. Then Maharaj showed that letter to Prabhupada, and then Prabhupada said, um, it's a different audience. But like Prabhupada did mention that for somebody um, on this path has to displease one's father. On, on this path of renunciation has to displease one's father. So there are, I mean, naturally, a lot of pain is incurred. But here it is said, but if Once energy is going in the service of the Lord, then there is no reaction to that. But if it does not go in, energy does not go in the service of the Lord, then all the pain we have caused is gonna come back to us, because everything has a reaction. No? Every suffering we cause to somebody has a reaction actually. Every suffering comes back. This is how karma works. But if everything is done in the service of the Lord, no, then nothing comes back. And that's how Lord Krishna says, one may live in this world and may not be entangled. Um, um, there are examples of like spiritual examples. Krishna says also, no, you give up all dharma and you surrender unto me, and I'll free you from all reactions. No, I will not let any reaction come to you. If you do whatever you are doing, if the purpose is to increase your engagement in me, then I will give full protection. Krishna says, I will offer full protection. Um, uh, Gopis are an example. Of course, we don't encourage following those examples, but just tattva wise, I am sharing. Um, they may run towards Krishna, but there is no reaction for them. Maybe for say whatever society may say, cheating on their husbands, um, um, or going against their dharma, or whatever one may say, but there is no reaction because it is driven towards the energy is driven towards Krishna. So in that way, one is not indebted to anybody. Neither one has to do any duties. Um, like Pindadan is there. Those who are from India, they know the offering of oblations to the ancestors, the yagyas, and there are various ways. Demigod worship is there to reciprocate for what we are receiving. So no need of worship of the ancestors, worship of the devatas, worship of various things. Because everyone is satisfied by keeping Krishna in the root, by keeping Krishna in the center. This is from Bhagavatam. Um, um, Even if one does not execute a specific occupational duty, but immediately takes direct, this is Narad Muni to Vyasadeva. Narad Muni is telling that if one does not execute his specific occupational duty, but immediately takes direct shelter of the lotus feet of Hari Krishna, there will be no fault on his part, and in all circumstances his position is secure. Even if by some bad association he falls down while executing devotional service, or if he does not finish the complete course of devotional service and dies untimely, still he is not at loss. A person who is simply discharging his occupational duty in Varna and Ashrama, however, with no Krishna consciousness, practically does not gain the true benefit of human life. So there may be two kind of people. One person may neglect one's um, occupational duty and take shelter of Lord Hari and may fall down. Still, there is no loss on that person's life. And somebody who is this is I mean, lot of controversies comes, and that's why we don't discuss these topics in public. Suppose somebody joins the temple or serves Krishna for one day in the life. Just one day he comes to temple. Maybe he is very sinful. He has all these bad habits. Maybe the worst sinner, maybe. Um, but then he attends the Mangal Arati. He chants some japa, worship Krishna, and then he goes away. He immediately falls down because of strong attachment or to the past or small strong conditioning. He goes away. And there is another person who is like fully sattvic, doing performing one's duty according to one and ashrama, whichever ashram they are in, perfectly helping everybody and doing. What is the gain? Narad Muni is telling. Practically does not gain the true benefit of human life. Means even even unknowingly or anybody rendering devotional service to Krishna, there is a great benefit. See, like it's like highly biased statement in a way how people would think in this world. This statement is like, okay, there is nothing like this. That's the feel one gets by hearing. Narad Muni telling to Vyasadeva on the glories of taking shelter of Krishna. I don't want to use the word highly biased. I want to say um, absolute truth statement, something like that. But from a spiritual perspective, even if, so one second, even if one does not execute his specific occupational duty, but immediately takes direct shelter of lotus feet of Hari Krishna, there will be no fault on his part. One has given up his specific duties and they can immediately take shelter of Krishna, no fault. And in all circumstances, his position is secure. Um, Even if he does not execute his occupational duty, basically he goes against his duties, his dharma, his ashram, everything. No fault on his part, and his position is secure in all circumstances. And even if by some bad association he falls down, well, he does something and then he falls down, and he does not complete the course of devotional service. So devotional service is meant to create premana, falls down in the middle, and die or dies untimely. He's not at loss. Whatever rendered, ultimate eternal benefit. But a person simply discharging varna ashram, very settled, very reliable, or whatever, with no Krishna consciousness, does not gain the true benefit of human life. That will give him some good karma that may take him to heaven. Once that good karma is burnt, then he will come down again. Um, and the idea of these statements are whichever situation we are in, um, sincerely take up to your Krishna consciousness. That is our ultimate benefit. My dear king, this is uh, um, Narad Muni telling to Maharaj Yudhishthir, um, uh, my dear king, a person, hmm, maybe not. It's 11th canto, 5th chapter. So this is probably the Nav Yogendras telling to Maharaj Nimi. Anyways, my dear king, a person who has given up the worship of the demigods and has completely concentrated his energy in the devotional service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead has become very, very dear to the Lord. As such, if by chance or mistake he does something that is forbidden, there is no need for him to perform any purificatory ceremonies, because the Lord is situated within his heart. He takes compassion for the devotee's accidental mistake and corrects him from within. So Lord is very, 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 one becomes very, very dear to the Lord if one completely concentrate his energy onto devotional service. Full like um, one of my Shiksha Gurus, Rajraj Prabhu, when he was mentioning um, Krishna wants full energy towards him actually. He used the statement, I'm hesitant to use, but he said like Krishna is a jealous God. Like just to explain to common people. It means Krishna wants actually somebody to fully dedicate to him. Krishna wants that. Um, and that's why, and it's clear in Bhagavad Gita actually. Krishna says, less intelligent people worship demigods. People in mode of goodness worship devatas. People in mode of ignorance worship ghosts. People in mode of passion worship ancestors and humans, and people in transcendental worship me. So in a way, um, full energy, completely concentrated his energy in devotional service to Supreme Personality of Godhead. When one does that, Krishna says, no, just abandon all variety of dharma and just surrender on. That person becomes very, very dear to the Lord. Like if one is trying to put one's full energy to serve Krishna. Um, um, and if by chance that person makes a mistake or does an act which is forbidden, he does not need to do any purificatory ceremonies. The Lord takes compassion on the devotee who accidentally makes some mistakes. And the Lord's correct that person from within the heart. And the person is again well situated in devotional service. So any mistake, na, like that's what is the mysticism, mystery of Vaishnavism. Lot of cushion bhakti provides. Anything one does by mistake, that's all right. Child starts learns to walk and he falls down. Get up and start walking. Get up and don't worry, don't worry. No need to feel bad why you fell down. Just get up and keep walking, keep walking. Who is a first classman? My dear Uddhava, any person who takes shelter of me in complete surrender, not partial surrender. My lord, some surrender to you and some surrender to something else. Any person who takes shelter of me in complete surrender and follows my instruction, giving up all occupational duties, is to be considered first classman. First classman is like liberated soul. And their full energy is like our spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada, uh, Lord Chaitanya. And the complete energy is going, not considering on what is one's duties, varna and ashrama and dharma, but rather complete surrender and complete energy is going in following Krishna's instruction, taking shelter of Krishna, rendering devotional service to Krishna. Um, and that person is to be considered a first class man. Again, Krishna told Uddhava. Okay. So that's all I have. That's the end of the fifth chapter. Let's see if there are any discussions on these topics.
Would you use the word liberated? But the devotees don't want liberation, right? So, what does liberated mean here?
Where, Prabhuji? Oh, um,
So, liberated state, we said, like Prabhupada was liberated, right?
liberation means not attached to this world. They are liberated. Or pure devotees are also liberated. Now. Liberation is of multiple kinds. Now. There is one conversation between Lord Chaitanya and uh, Sarvabhaumacharya. And there is this one verse which says, Tathenu kapam susumikshamana bhujana evatma kritam vipakam yadvag vapurva vidadam namaste jiveta yomukti pade sadaya bhal. Jiveta yomukti. So there, it's a prayer by Lord Brahma. I mean, I'm explaining how liberation is a good word to use. Um, um, so this particular verse says that anybody, whatever suffering is coming upon them, that devotee feels this suffering as the result of one's own karma, and um, he doesn't feel like I don't deserve it, but he knows that it's my own karma coming back, all the suffering. And in that state, he offers obeisances with body, mind, and heart to the Supreme Lord. For that person, Mukti Pade Sadaya Bhag. Mukti is his birthright. So Sama Bhattacharya said, My Lord, this verse is wrong. It should be Bhakti Pade Sadaya Bhag. For that person, devotion is his birthright. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, No, the Shastra cannot be wrong. It's Mukti Pade Sadaya Bhag. Um, uh, and then Mahaprabhu explained that, the mukti can be used in many ways. No? There is a Sayujya Mukti also, which we don't want. There are other four kind of muktis also, which we don't want also. But we want prema, bhakti. Um, and when we get prema, we are liberated from this material, but nonetheless, makes sense, Rosie?
Yes. So, I was, because in the first chapter we said the devotees don't want liberation, that they just want to serve.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. But then they are serving in a liberated state nonetheless, right, Rosie?
Okay, okay, yeah.
So in
It's
that
just they
way,
get it, even though they want it, but in that
uh,
state they serve, still serve.
they still have it, man. But that's the highest state. But they're not working for it. But nonetheless, they are liberated.
Okay, Push.
That's not just an aspiration for them. Okay. Anybody else has anything? All right. Thank you, dear Prabhuji and Matajis, for joining. Vanchakalpatarubhesha Kripasindhu Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavam Anantakoti Vaishnavam. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Mataji, Hare Krishna.